All right, I think we are live. Maybe not. Oh yeah. Just test the audio real quick. Yep, all good. Right, grab the chat. All right. Let me hop onto here. Here we go. So, welcome back to the series. I still haven't fixed the transform thing. I sat down for about half an hour before and still can't figure it out. So I'm just going to basically move on from the problems we had yesterday. It's just a little bit of how it goes sometimes, you know. So I basically settled on for now until I fix it. You pretty much just can't select anything else while you have this gizmo up. You have to like unselect and then select something else. So definitely not how I want it to be long term, but for now it at least lets me move ahead until I want to come back and give it another crack to fix. So most of the issues come from the fact that I can't seem to figure out a way to detect whether or not I'm hovering any of these transform elements. So 1 second, sorry. Alright, sorry about that. Okay. Just some more stuff came up. So the plan today, I'm basically just going to take a break from this transform stuff. I'm sure you guys are sick of watching me fiddle around with this. So what my plan is today, for a short-ish stream, is to come back to these buttons which I never actually implemented and implement these. So just to remind you, these are a way to basically switch between the different transform modes. And this one is a world space toggle, which actually I think I did get in, didn't I? Yeah, I got that one working. It doesn't work super well though, because like if I push Q, which is my keybind to switch, it doesn't actually like change the data that this button's looking at. So need to fix that. And then these are just like snapping toggles, position, rotation, scale. So I want to kind of get those in. And then if we get through all of that, I have some potential, well, we'll see. We'll get to that if it comes to it. I'll save it for now. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of cruise today, get through this work a little bit. Won't be too chatty probably, but yeah, hope you enjoy. So I think the first thing I'll fix is the fact that this doesn't actually respect when I push Q to change it myself. So if we look at the viewports, just the viewport, that is basically bound right here, and when it refreshes it reads this toggled callback. Yeah, but it doesn't actually read the data properly. So transform set is local space. Is there a binding for space? I might need to do this somewhere else. If I quickly go to here, editor transform gizmo, I just want to see if there's a built-in like event for this already, or I need to make my own. So axis changed. Mode changed? Nah. Space changed. I'll do a quick log. Okay, if I push Q, I do not hit a breakpoint. Ah, there we go. I don't think I set the breakpoint. Okay, and then it gives me, yeah, the new value. That's fine. Q again, triggers, and if I push up here, also triggers. Okay, cool. So there is an event for it. So basically, I need to in the viewport. I've linked up a default thing, but I also need to link up an on change. So let's see. Change callback. Setting toggle. Let's see. Change callback. Just trying to think of how I link this up, because I pretty much need this to link to the gizmos. Like, I just need to kind of add a custom event listener, I guess. Maybe I do that outside the component. Maybe that's the easiest way. How's it going? Day 9 of stream, I see, but it's written 8. Yes, I did forget to update that. Thank you very much. I'll probably forget that every day, I would imagine. But welcome in. Nice to see you again. Let's see. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just add the binding here then. I guess the only problem is, what if the transform gizmo is not enabled? In which case we actually need to wrap that event. Okay, so I will need a custom event here, public on transform space changed. Oh, nice work. HTML code to React ASAP. Nice. Very good. What kind of project is it? Is it the game you were making? That banana game? Or some other project? So fast typing. Yep, so this needs to bind to, let's see, transform. I always lose this function, set transform actor. There we go. Transform gizmo dots. That is what, a component? No, it's an actor. Okay, so I'm gonna need to wrap it here. Okay, so let's add an event here, public on transform space changed. New event. The game is just a counter which plays eating sound of apple every 10 clicks and have reset button. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, React is pretty fun. The more I mess around with it, the more I enjoy it. It did take a minute to get used to though, I will admit. So when it constructs, I guess when it constructs all, no, I can't really do it here. I guess I have to go on begin play and end play. Transform gizmo.add event listener, and it was on, no, what was it? Space changed. And pretty much we just broadcast the event pretty much with E. I would like to unbind this honestly, but this is an anonymous function which makes that difficult. Whatever, I just won't unbind it for now. Okay, so now in the editor, is it possible to make a game UI using HTML in a game engine? It is possible to make a game UI in HTML. In a game engine, it depends on the engine. Like in this engine I'm making, it's going to be possible, but I haven't seen it very commonly by default in like public engines, honestly. Add listener. Where are we right now? In the editor. We pretty much just need to forward that event on. To the entire editor. So that particular transform component, transform gizmo changed. which means the entire editor needs to change its state. What have I messed up here? What is this freaking out about? Internal server error on viewport line 1. No, it looks fine to me. I might need to restart. I do agree, Pixapple, it does make a lot of sense, and part of the reason I'm making this engine, honestly, is it does make a lot of sense to leverage web tech for stuff like this, for game UIs. Are you kidding me? Did I break the transform gizmo? There we go. It's because I nicked the begin play and didn't call parent. Okay. Yep. So now when I change the mode, it should be firing this editor dispatcher. Yep. Sure is. So now basically the UI, the viewport, can listen to that. Question of the day, how do you center a diff? Yeah. I don't know, it still confuses me too. Have I centered any divs here? Well, I basically just use Flexbox for stuff like that. But I think there's a way where if you set like a width and then set like margin left and right to auto, I don't know. Just Google it. I have to Google it every time. You can also use absolute positioning for it, but yeah, so just trying to find a good spot to do this. I mean, I guess this will work. So window.editor.on transform space change, add listener, and when that changes, we need to change the state of the UI, which needs to update. So this should not be that anymore, and now we need to do a use state somewhere if we haven't got one already. So I'll call it transform space and then set transform space, and this is just the UI representation of that variable we have in the engine for this, the editor. But each viewport needs kind of its own like state, I believe. So we'll use that state. We will use that as the default value, which should be okay. One thing I could potentially do is actually store this value in the editor so that when I get rid of, like, say if I rotate this, put it into local mode, then escape off it and click on it again, see how it goes back into global space? That's because the setting is basically saved within the gizmo rather than within the engine or the editor. The best thing that Notepad and Visual Studio Code, both made by Microsoft, yeah, and Typescript, believe it or not. The language I'm using is also Microsoft. So yeah, but so ideally I'd swap this out eventually for like a variable just in the editor, but anyway. So when that triggers, we just want to set it. And then we just use that variable here. And now nothing happens when I push Q. Why is that? And also right click doesn't work anymore. What the hell? Oh yeah, no, right click works. Right click doesn't work after I click in. Wait, what happened there? So I can right click, click on that, I can still right click, click on that, and now I can't. Click that off, now I can, okay. How's it going, Shake? Welcome in. Nice to see you again, my friend. Set transform space. I guess I don't actually set the yeah, that's probably why. I kind of need like a use effect. I don't know if it's good practice to keep using this many use effects, but I need a use effect to watch the new state we added. Where is it? Transform space. Because now anytime this changes, I can set this to be wait, this is a boolean? Set as local space, yeah. And why could it be undefined? That's interesting. Boolean or undefined. Because there might not be a gizmo. Maybe I will just force it. I don't know what that will break, but anyway, if I rotate this, still not updating. What have I done now? When the toggle callback happens, I need to go set transform state space. Why is that not causing a refresh? How can you use photos and sound in React Page? I am having issues, if any. Photos or images, you can use either an image element or a background image on a div. Both behave slightly differently. For sound, I don't know. I don't know how the best way to do that is. Okay, so we add the event listener, set the transform space. Let me hit this with a quick refresh so I get my... Oh. Because there's no Okay, that's fine. That one should be okay. This one is set to false by default. That clear that up? Yeah. So that's working. If I look at the viewport component, I think this will show me the state. Okay, so that variable is changing, but the UI is not repainting. Why is that? Yeah, because if this doesn't repaint, we can't update that value. Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do, honestly, is make a new component, viewport settings. Yeah, viewport settings. And I want to pull this out basically, so everything down to here can go here. Now we've got a million errors. It's okay. Setting toggle. I guess it will just be these. Okay, and then we need the state. And that use effect for sure. Use state. Yeah, I think that's everything. So if I leave all that, then in the settings panel, I'll have another use state, which is like the initializer. Wait. This is like basically when the component mounts, it'll link up the event listener. And yeah, does that make any difference to... Can you show how huge your project file became? Like, Like size in megabytes, is that what you mean? Or like how many files? It's not too big. In terms of files amount anyway. Let's see, how do I... Gotcha, size in megabytes. I will just figure out how to... There we go, File Explorer. How big have we got? This is obviously with dependencies and everything. Is about a gig. Yeah, about 1 gigabyte. But yeah, that's not the size of like the actual build that people will install. So honestly, I'm not entirely sure why this isn't repainting, because when transform space, yeah, whenever this changes, we do that. We render out transform space, which is state. And then on the callback, we set the transform space, which sets the state. Which I was under the impression would re-render all of this. Oh yeah, so it is detecting... It is applying the changes, basically, of the state. It's just not updating the UI to reflect it, so... I must be doing something wrong here then. Icon, space... Unless there's some sort of quirk to React that I don't know about yet, where the state has to be on the actual element itself, perhaps. Yeah, state is true. If I push Q, it is updating the state. Oh, we are passing through the right thing, it's just not changing its internal state for some reason. Okay. It is quite complex, isn't it? So this has an internal enabled flag. I'm just changing the property that I'm passing in. The properties probably get red when it renders the first time, which means maybe like this, actually, now that I think about it. That potentially... So when someone calls this, no, they're going to pass in a function here. Hang on. So it'll be like here, change set enabled. What's going on? Oh, right, I'm doing it in the wrong place. Set enabled. And I would need to pass some sort of function to run. That's the opposite of what I want. What I want to happen is for this state to change when some other state does. Yeah, so we don't really want a set enabled. All right, let's just refresh this. We should get a breakpoint, hopefully. Yep. As it renders the first couple of times. Then if I click this, we get a change. If I just push Q though, we are re-rendering. What the hell? We are re-rendering, but the internal state is this how you would want to handle something like this? I'm not sure, but set the enabled property to whether it's enabled here. So that this state maps to the outer state. I think that'll work. I don't know if that's best practice though. What is happening there? The prop doesn't update user state. You need to watch for the change in a user effect. Oh, okay. Or just use it from the props. So I was using it from the props. Thanks for the help, by the way, Rudy. The props get passed through here. And where do I use that? Oh, yeah, no, I see the problem. Yeah, so I think what I did, it would be good then, is I guess this is a way to do it, is like when the component mounts, take in the props and set the internal state from that. I guess that's the thing I was missing, right, is when a child component in React re-renders, it keeps its state. Not on the handle bowl click right. I don't know what you mean by that. Let me see if this works real quick. Something is happening. I don't know what though. Getting like some sort of weird half breakpoint. Yeah, so the state basically exists here and then gets passed down to this child component wherever it is. Down here. No, that still doesn't work. Let's have a look at the props then. Viewport settings. State is false. So that state is changing correctly. Which is the thing with the... Okay, so this one is now updating, but it's just its prop is updating, not its internal state. Unfortunately. So I have still messed something up. I guess this isn't running, maybe? Props enabled. Oh. God damn it. Undefined is what I was trying to check there, not whether... There we go. That's probably it, right? No, still not. What the heck? Okay, yeah, so that use effect is just not getting triggered anymore. What happens if I put it outside of the use effects? That feels like maybe something you're not supposed to do though. Ooh, I think it's pretty unhappy with that. Yeah. It's just causing constant re-renders, right. Okay, let's just force set it. Props dot enabled. Still no good. There's no need to have duplicate state on the child here. Just pass the function from the parent. Pass the function from the parent. Oh, I see what you're saying. Ah, is that how you're supposed to do it? So I pass this function. That's what you're talking about, huh? Oh, that makes so much sense. So I see. Yeah, I think I get what you mean. So if I did like set, I don't know, whatever, set value or something. No, set enabled. Then I don't know what the type would be for that. I'll just say any for now. Set enabled. Like that, I see. And now I can just call it as a function. Yeah, oh, thanks so much for that, Rudy. That's like a key piece of React knowledge that I didn't fully understand. I forget in JavaScript you can just pass entire functions through, which is pretty awesome. So what would the type of this be? I guess it's this crazy thing, but that doesn't look... Oh, whatever. I guess it's what it is. Very good. So now that I have the function, I basically don't need any of that. But what happens if I don't pass something in? Maybe I still want to map this like I was, but I do it like this. It's probably wasteful to have the state twice, as you say, but I just worry because some of them might need to hold the state internally still. Oh wait, I have it. Yeah, whenever the enabled state change. Props.toggle callback. I can't really reconcile having both of these things, can I? Having an internal and an external state. I guess what I could do is like, where do I actually do this? Right here? If props.set enabled is not undefined, then I'll call that function. Ooh. Otherwise, call that one. But my worry is this still isn't going to update because it's reading this state here. Yeah, no, I just completely broke it with that. There must be more to this then. I want this to be able to set state from the outside. It's also able to read state. I guess it's the same situation. Whenever that enabled changes. Yeah, maybe I just can't have the state on the outside. Use effect. Because basically when I'm pushing Q here, it is setting this. Props. Man, this is really bending my mind to try and think through how this would work. It's like I need to pass in, rather than just the value itself, I need to pass in like a like maybe one thing I could do that I'm pretty sure would work is don't make this a generic toggle like this. Make it like an internal thing. Because the trouble I'm having basically is mapping these two functions from the outside. Set transform space. That gets called when I push Q basically, but also when I click it, I should set that here, which will set this, which will remove the need for internal state. But only on this particular element. In which case, it would be like if this is basically what I had before, though, isn't it? Props.set enabled is not undefined. Then props.set enabled to something else. Whenever enabled state changes that. I could do maybe like get enabled. So I'll just return that for now. And everywhere that I see enabled, just replace it with that. Possibly. And then in here I can say if props.enabled is not undefined, then turn props.enabled. Let's see, does that do anything? It does, okay. That feels pretty jank, but that does work. So it's pretty much just remapping it to the props functions if thus set, otherwise letting the internal state handle it. That does feel pretty gross, honestly. It does work though. Yeah, I am pretty happy with how this functions. I just don't know if the code is exactly the way you should necessarily write it. I could force the state to be set from the outside on these, I suppose. I mean, is there any reason to keep it here? I guess not, at the end of the day. No, I'll just keep it, whatever. It'll be fine. I'll remove it once I replace all these buttons, but yeah, that is good now. So before I commit that, the last thing I want to change is the way that setting is tracked. So where is it? Also working on a TypeScript game engine. YouTube's recommendations is really great. Nice. Very cool. How's your project going, Benjamin? I'm still pretty early on in my development at the moment, but getting there very, very slowly. Slower than I expected, but that's right. Yeah, so the one thing I don't like is that the gizmo stuff, it's like basically it's tracking the state in the gizmo. So like if I'm in local space, if I deselect that and click on it again, it's in global space again. Send you some images if you want. Yeah. No, I'm keen to see. 2 years. That's quite a long project. Very, very well done sticking with it that long. Yeah, so in the editor, I want to basically move that setting to something like maybe if I make a new type, viewport options, or viewport settings, I'll call it. Is this running in a browser? It's actually running in an Electron app, which is basically a browser. It's a Chromium instance. But yeah, so it's kind of like a standalone application that is basically a web browser, but it doesn't look like it, if that makes sense. Like you can see, if I bring up the dev tools, this is like an HTML page, but it functions like a desktop app. Viewport settings. So the only setting I'll have for right now is transform space, and that can be either local or world, maybe. Looks cool. Appreciate it, man. Getting there. Oops, and that's the button that closes everything ever. Not what I wanted. Yeah, getting there. There's a lot of, kind of like boring code to write, honestly, at the start, as I'm just sort of getting this off the ground, but I do have like properties that work pretty well. I've made like a reflection system, Typescript reflection system, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's really not a lot to it just yet. Yours in C++? Nice, well done. Yeah, C++ scares the shit out of me, honestly. I do use it at work sometimes, but I use the Unreal Engine sort of like flavor of it. Yeah, I don't think I'd be brave enough to try write an engine in C++ myself. Not yet, anyway. Still scratching my head around the 3D terrain in TypeScript. Well, kudos. Yeah, so there isn't really any 3D terrain as such. This is a skybox. But there are a few 3D objects in the scene so far. Terrain is one thing, like actual sort of landscape terrain is one thing that is on my list to implement though. Probably around when we do like nav mesh stuff and all that. But yeah, at the moment it's kind of just these primitives. It's a struggle though. I'm still building the basics, working on GLTF model loader now. Yeah, nice. I'm kind of cheating by using 3JS, which is like a library that wraps all the rendering and model loading for me. So yeah, you're definitely a lot braver than me. But yeah. Sorry. Rudy. No problem. I don't know what you're sorry about. It's all good. Oh, you're on the train. Yep, all good. No problem. I kind of figured it out. I'm not sure if the solution's like super good. Maybe you can have a quick look, Rudy, if you like. I did get it working, yeah, so if I rotate like that, if I push Q and you look at this button, it does change now, but I'm not entirely convinced this is what you meant, but I pretty much have this state here, which is the setting, which I have basically an event system which will change that, and then anytime this changes, it writes it back into the engine. I think these are necessary. But then in the toggle, which is like the sub component, like the actual like widget here, I basically pass through the set function of the state and the state itself. So basically these two things. And then inside the toggle, I kind of like, I still have an internal state, but if the props kind of stuff is set, I use that instead. Which basically means that these buttons still work, even though they don't do anything yet. But yeah, this one basically is using the state that I pass in. Hopefully that's, I don't know if that's a good solution or not. I don't know if that's what you're meaning to try, but it does seem to work. No need for internal state and the additional function. Well, yeah, there probably isn't any need for this internal state, but at least until I implement the rest of these buttons actually doing something, it's nice to see them like toggle like that, because I don't have state for them on the outside just yet. I guess I could just move all the state on the outside. I don't know. But yeah, I get your point. I probably will remove it once I've implemented all these. You already have the toggle callback one. Yeah, so I do just use the one that I'm passing in if it exists, which eventually I will just like basically just always return this, if that makes sense. But it's kind of just like in the meantime, I'm just supporting both methods. But yeah, it did work pretty well. Thanks for that. I was saying, I'm not sure if you heard me, but I was saying I forget in JavaScript that you can pass entire functions through as arguments like that, which is pretty cool. Line 30, and probably in the other file, huh? Instead of using the set state, you can use toggle callback. So you're saying rather than doing this, oh, I do, right, I see, I do that already, don't I? Oh man, this is such a mess. Yeah, so I guess what you're saying is basically like, I could just say like if it is equal to undefined, which means I haven't kind of implemented it on the outside, then I can set the internal state. Otherwise, like it's already basically handled, which means then I probably don't need this, huh? Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I actually don't need that either. Is that right? Just do the toggle callback. Ah, you're right. Wow, I'm glad you're onto this, Rudy. You're thanks for saving me there. No problem. No problem. You've been incredibly helpful so far. It looks like the link of the imager is being filtered, but the imager ID is... Oh, right. This is your engine you were looking at? Or you're making, sorry? how do I use that? Like imgur. Oh wow. Do you mind if I show this on stream? That is pretty impressive. Is that like a node material editor you've built there? Holy hell, dude. Some of the images are still loading for me, but wow. That is incredibly impressive. Well done, man. Super, super cool. What does your tech stack look like? Like what kind of stuff are you using? Damn, man, that's so cool. Oh, and you're linked it to Google Drive. I see the word client here, I think, so that means you've got like a networking solution. Wow, I am completely blown away by that. What the heck? Particle system. Ah, yeah, 3JS as well by the look of it. By the look of that transform gizmo anyway. Damn. Oh, this is goals for me. This is basically, yeah, like striving to make something even like 10% as cool as that. Hell yeah, man. Well done. Is it Svelte for UI and 3JS for rendering? Gotcha. Is there a way to see some of the code, or have you got this locked down pretty hard? I'd imagine you're not sort of like open sourcing it or anything. Server-side physics, you have your own scripting engine. Scripts are ran on web workers. Wow. You should or maybe you already have, I can't check right now, but you should make some videos about this stuff, or like I'd love to just like see more about how you've set this all up. How did you make, one question, how did you make this what do you call it, like axes previewer thing? Is that a mesh? I need to get one of those going. Not open source? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you should. Even if you don't commentate on them or whatever, just doing like a demo of your stuff. That's so cool. Oh, there's one in 3JS. Okay, cool. That's kind of what the answer I was hoping for, to be honest, because I don't have to program my own. Yeah, that is fantastic. And you went the full web site approach rather than like Electron or anything, which is cool. Man, that is amazing work. Very well done. Oh, web. Goodness me, man. Well, Electron could be optional. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, feel free to come and watch me struggle to get even the basics working anytime. Definitely willing to learn where I can, but yeah, I'm a long way off having anything that flash. Saying that, I am only 9 days into the project, so right, what was I? So I basically got this working, and now it's immediately stopped working, which is wait a second. So when I click, wait, I think I need to put this at the end. Out of interest, if you're still here, Benjamin, by the way, just because I get this question all the time, how would you answer the question about basically why you decided to make your engine with WebTech rather than C++? I'll tell you my answer after, but I'm just interested to know another perspective. Quick suggestion for future ideas. I think this base is absolutely amazing because it makes iterate on the editor pretty fast, and there's this guy called Bevy on Rust that doesn't have a UI editor. It would be cool if someone made a UI for it. Oh yeah, Bevy. Yeah, I don't really know Rust, but I have heard of the Bevy engine. Yeah, it would be cool to have a UI for I was tossing up whether to make a UI for this basically or not, but figured might as well. I think I've screwed stuff up again though, Rudy, because I can't click on this anymore. Oh wait. Nope, never mind, I fixed it. It's just a logic error. Rust WW, which is basically Electron from Tori. Yeah, I have heard of Tori as well. That was one of the ones I looked at, but I did decide to keep it all TypeScript in the end. How is the audio volume, by the way? Are we all good there? I'll probably do another half an hour. Audio's good, yeah. Also, because engines are bloated, a simple tic-tac-toe game could be 1 GB. Yeah, so is that one of the reasons you made your thing web-based? Is that what you're responding to then? Cheers for the audio check, by the way. Oh, your messages are filtered out, huh? Yeah, I'm not sure. People keep saying that, but I don't... As far as I know, I've got everything turned off on... Like, just basically let people post whatever. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so this is fixed. Now that I've done that, I should be able to jam through. Oh wait, before I commit, there was one other thing. Yeah, I wanted to set this basically so the viewport, no, the editor has viewport settings. I'll just make this public, screw it. Viewport settings. Just can I just default that? Is missing in type. I can't really. I could default it here though. No, I can't. Damn it. Okay. Alright. I'll serialize this out to a file at some point anyway. Yep, so now I want to link it to this variable rather than whatever it's linked to right now. So yeah, it's currently linked to this function window.editor.viewport settings dot transform space. And we're kind of dealing with booleans, which I should have done it as a string because potentially there might be other modes other than local and world I'd want to handle. Only language I know, I started off making hacks for browser game. Crunker.io. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that 9 years ago, back when I was in middle school. Oh, gotcha. Nice. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have the instant feedback, as Rudy was saying, as well. Like, if you've ever used other stuff before, it's like quite a long compilation time. But yeah, it's also really nice to have access to the entire kind of like web kind of ecosystem. Like, I find with other engines and that, there's a lot of like, I use Unreal pretty much daily in my job. I find there's always like a custom UI solution for every engine, you know? Whereas it makes so much sense to me to just reuse WebTech, because WebTech basically is, you know, like some of the most advanced UI tech out there. So yeah, that was a big reason I picked doing this. But again, yeah, I wouldn't be good enough to write an engine in C++, maybe in C#, which I started, but yeah, again, then I have to code my UI in like OpenGL, and yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound like much fun. But I do get people asking that question quite often. Okay, so we'll just set it to every time this changes, set it to this. There we go. And this is a terrible name now. Is local transform space, or is local space something. Set is local space. Why did you choose React? So in the past I've used Vue, Vue.js quite a bit, but then they changed their API to, like, I think they call it the composition API, and basically rather than relearning that, I decided to switch to a different framework. Like, I figured if I'm going to learn something like basically a new API, I might as well expand my knowledge and test the waters with a different framework altogether. So I kind of just randomly picked React. It seemed popular, so I kind of wanted to see how it works, see what the fuss was about, and I am enjoying it. I have excuse me, I've never used Svelte before, which I think is one you mentioned. Let me look that up real quick, because there is one thing about React that is starting to annoy me a little bit. Show me an example. Huh? That's just... Oh, I see. I was gonna say, what the heck is different about... Yeah, so variables... Scope CSS, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm missing right now from React. And maybe there's a way to do it, but it looks like this is similar to the way Vue is, where each file, each component has like a script, a template, and a style associated. Whereas in React, it seems to basically just have a script and a template. React state effect system are really confusing. It's popular because it was the only good framework for the time it came out. Yeah, look at Svelte. Yeah, it does look pretty good. Yep, so on click, call the function. When this changes, just... So pretty much like, it looks like Svelte basically is pretty simple and boils down to... Oh no, there are a few interesting... No, yeah, there is a few interesting things going on here. But yeah, it does look like basically like they're going for kind of just, you know, basically just put variables into HTML like that with reactivity. Like I'm assuming if you did this and this was a variable and you changed this variable, it would like update the UI maybe. Like what happens if I do this and then put this here, and then I don't know, like a button or something. And then on click of that, is that how they did it? Button click. This feels kind of cool. If I'm understanding how this works correctly, is it like that? Button click and then test val. I don't know, plus equals like a $sign or something. No, okay. So I guess there's more to it than that then. Oh, there's a special thing for it. Oh yeah. No, it is like that. That's really cool. That's really cool actually. Being able to just define a normal variable, because in React you've got to like set up this use state thing. I don't. Oh yeah, here. You're like specifically tell it that you're using these variables, and then you can't just set this variable, you have to use the setter for it as well, which is like kind of annoying. This is pretty cool. You know, it's like a good framework if I was able to pick up the gist of it in like 30 seconds. I'm sure there's a lot more advancedness to it there, but like that's kind of a nice framework if you can kind of like get up and running with it that quickly. And it looks like it just expands out from there. So that syntax you showed me of the on click looks like it applies to a few different things. Yeah, cool. Potentially a two-way binding there. Very cool. Yeah, no, I do like that a lot. Damn, I kind of regret doing React now after seeing that, but we'll see. This is where we're at right now. We were with React. I'll stick with it. I might switch it out. We'll see. Depends if I have an enthusiastic weekend, but on my second monitor I still have this going, and I keep getting distracted looking at it because it's so impressive. You should be super proud of yourself, man. That's very cool. Anyway, back to my shitty thing. So this is working ish. No, it's not working anymore. Fuck. God damn it. How do I continually break this? It works for like 10 minutes and then I... Wait a second, have I got this? No editor, transform space. Oh damn, you're doing that in high school? Holy moly, man. You're gonna have a hell of a career, no doubt, if you're able to pull stuff like that off in high school. Doing the same thing in college. Yeah, no, for real, you should make some videos on that. There's probably a lot of tech companies that would pay pretty handsomely for if you're able to build them like custom tools like that. Like if you imagine, I don't know, like ArcViz companies or you know, like car rendering things, or that's very cool. Okay, whatever. This is now completely broken. Fuck. Set as local space. Is local space. What did I change recently that could have screwed it up that badly? Hang on. Let me go back a little bit here. I should have committed before I did this, I guess. Was it when I renamed those variables? Maybe I had to refresh, actually. Yeah, I think that's what the problem was. I probably changed these names without refreshing. Node.js for Electron runtime. I am indeed, yes. At least I'm pretty sure that's what the default is. Whatever the default is. But I'm pretty sure this is Node.js, isn't it? So yeah, my main process is basically the default template one, except I added a different logo, and that's about it. Is it? I swear I did something in here. Wait a second. God, I'm embarrassed now. No, I swear. Oh, I added like it installs some extensions. And a refresh button. Most of my work's been in the render process, which is basically the web page. Use bun, yeah, Made It Work was showing me that the other day. That does look fantastic. It's supposed to be a lot faster than Node too, right? From what I was looking at. Okay, I need to close your GIFs. It's almost like that's still by the monitor. Yeah, but no, bun looks pretty good. It looks very similar, honestly. Okay, let me see if I can quickly get at least one or two of these buttons going, because I was going to finish up us, but I wanna at least try to implement maybe these snapping options. That's why I switched, and because it supports TypeScript out of the box. Oh, right. Does Node.js not support TypeScript? Looks like it does. Maybe that was like an older version or something. Or maybe I installed something fancy to make this happen, I'm not sure. I did use Vite. Vite Electron sort of bootstrapper to get this going. Right. Let me try to jam through a little bit here. So if I go, let's see, enable position snapping, false by default, I guess. We'll do position, rotation, and scale. Yeah, I'd love to, I might have to pick your brain on a few things sometimes, sometime, Benjamin, on how you did certain things. I know you probably don't want to show much of the code, but there's just certain problems that I've been struggling to get past. In fact, one of them, it doesn't, Vite compiles it into plain JavaScript for Node.js to run it. Oh, are you saying like Bun just runs TypeScript? Like as in it doesn't transpile it? That's pretty cool if so. I thought you meant like they didn't have type support for TypeScript. Oh damn. that's a bit of a game changer. And something I've definitely been hoping browsers would pick up for a while, but I can understand kind of why they wouldn't, because like, you know, it's the whole problem of like once one browser supports it, it's like, well, you know, the 3 other browsers don't, so no one's gonna really support it until kind of everyone jumps on board. But it's cool for like stuff like backend runtimes to support it at least. Mutation snapping, scale snapping. Yeah, so one problem, I don't know if I want to really get into this right now. I kind of want to just get this done, but basically I can't figure out a good way to detect when to allow this to be like dragged, this gizmo, and when to ignore that and do active selection. So like in a situation like this, where there's an arrow down here over this other object, I've disabled it for now to basically brute force it to work, but what would happen before is I'd click down here to start trying to drag, and it would select the object behind it. So I was like, okay, well that's fine, I'll just check, like if do a raycast and see if in the 3JS scene if I'm hitting any of these elements, but I can't find any way to do that without, like, it basically says I'm hitting all of this all the time, so I must be doing something wrong there, and it's probably like too hard for you. Like one day I'll go into that stuff on stream again and you might be able to have a look, but yeah, I spent all day yesterday on it on the stream and didn't get anywhere with it, so I've kind of just gotten frustrated and given up, but I will come back and fix it. But I just can't seem to find a decent like solution to detect basically if I'm if I'm hovering a part of this gizmo. That's pretty much what it boils down to. It's probably like many years ago you solved that problem in your engine, but maybe you could alt tab and have a quick look at the code for me. No, you don't have to do that. It's all right. I'll take another stab at it another day. Right, let's get these other buttons. Going. So in the viewport, not viewport options, viewport settings. Should add me on Discord. My username is blah blah blah. Yeah. No, that sounds good. I will do that. I'll do it after the stream. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Very cool. Yeah, and just general tips on like, I don't know, because clearly you've spent a lot of time thinking stuff through. Like there's certain like design decisions that I'm not sure on. Like one thing, here's something that might be of interest, like I would be interested to see how you solved, is this property inspector obviously shows a different like editor for each like type, essentially, like variable type, number, like checkbox, color. So what I did for that, I don't know if this is like a sane way to solve it, but I basically, let's go to skylight component. I use decorators for it. This is a bad example. I'm trying to think of something. Does directional light have? Whatever, but basically these have different specifiers in it. The post-process volume is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, so I use these decorators, which then basically the decorators themselves. Oh my god, this is such a butchered description of what I did, but The decorators basically register the property with a reflection system, and the reflection system will create, like, basically keep track of the names of essentially the constructors of the objects. I'm trying to find it right here, class name. So this will be like, this property will be like light color. It knows it's in like the default category, and then it'll say like the type is, in fact I think I have prints for it still, let me see. Yeah, so it knows the type is color. I was wondering if that was a good solution for that or not, but oh, I see, you just if else through it? Okay, yeah. Just because like TypeScript doesn't really have runtime types. But yeah, no, that makes sense. You could just if through it. I do... where do I do it? Editor? I basically do the same thing, except I register them to a map. So I just say like, hey, if you ever come across a type number, use this component, and blah blah blah. But yeah, no, that's cool. I think we did something pretty similar then. Okay, position snapping is this one. So we've got icon enabled will be some sort of state, and then toggle callback enabled, and then we'll just do again just set the state pretty much. I mean, this is pretty straightforward stuff then. Enable position snapping, and then set enable position snapping. Enable position snapping. Cool. So that should, I think, be doing it. Except position, so when I set that, it doesn't actually do anything yet. So use effects. I don't know if it's a good idea for the UI to really be doing this, honestly, but when the position snapping changes, just if there's a gizmo, we will get the, let's see, I guess it's, okay. Get components, transform gizmo component. Seems like a lot of work just to get a hold of this, but then gizmo component dot snapping translation snap is a number or null. What is that by default though? Let's just say that can be equal to, if it's on, set it to 1, otherwise set it to 0. That probably will work. If gizmo component is not on default, find. So if we turn on snapping, yeah, so it is working. Cool. And then if I turn it off, we're good. Sweet. Does the use effect update every reactive element on the UI? If so, that's a major performance issue. The use effect, as far as I know, will just run this code when this variable changes, and if you don't pass anything in, it will it'll only render when it mounts, basically. I think the way these update is basically if I change this state and these components know that they need to update because their state has changed, basically. So I'm pretty sure just this and this will update when I toggle them. Yeah, so it's not, as far as I know, refreshing the entire, like basically this component that I'm looking at here is like this entire row across here, all these settings. So yeah. I just noticed I missed a couple of your messages too. Oh no, yeah, I got it, cool. Yeah, so I don't know, yeah, the naming in React is kind of weird. Like use effect doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's like, it's something to do with side effect, I think. It's like some functional programming sort of like lingo, I think. But yeah. Okay, so this is good. I just basically need to do that for the other ones now, and that should be pretty quick. So if I just stick that there. Rotation snapping. And then at some point I need to add like a little drop down for, so you can set the amount of snapping. Enable scale snapping, set enable scale snapping. Okay, and then we just add those states which need to read from the correct place, which I'll do shortly. Rotation snapping, scale snapping. And this will be grab the editor's viewport settings dot transform space local. This will be position snapping, and then rotation snapping, scale snapping. All right, very good. Not assignable to what? This is just a boolean. Oh yeah, it's happy now. Okay, cool. So that should all be working. I just need to now link the use effects and we should be good. Copy pasting a disgusting amount of code, but that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it's happening. Rotation snap. Enable rotation snapping. And I'm not this is probably in radians. How the fuck do radians work again? It's like 2 pi is 360, right? So god damn it, math.pi So 2 pi is 180. It's too late for this. So half pi is 90. I guess I'll do a quarter pi. It's pi over 4. Realize the name of your engine. Yeah, it's yeah, we'll see if it happens. It's obviously also based on Unreal Engine. Is that a grid shader or an actual texture in the ground? This is a grid shader right now. Yep, you can see it like squashed on the sides. Yep, it's a texture. Yeah, a procedural one would be good, but I haven't written a shader for that yet. But you could probably just do like a world aligned, like a world space texture, like a world projection. Like, what am I trying to say here? Use the world position for the UVs basically to get this to map properly. Okay, and then scale. Maybe a quarter of that. Scale snapping. Wait, why is there no scale snap on this then? That's weird. This is the only one that's a function. Okay. That seems weird. And I also just noticed that these are linked to the wrong thing. But it should, I think, now work. So turn on position snapping. That is working. Rotation snapping is working. That is 45 degrees. Nice. And scale snapping is also working. Beauty. And if I rotate that, I can put it in local space. Nice. That all appears to be pretty good. Wait a second, that doesn't seem to be good though. Man, there's always another bug, isn't there? That's because the actual gizmo should be reading this stuff, not the UI. Yeah. Hardest element of the new project I've been working on is getting text to render. It's WebGL UI engine with no dependencies or frameworks. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that does sound tough. Are you going to use like glyph style text rendering, like a sprite sheet type system, or I'm assuming you'd do that with like some sort of like 2D batch render or something. Vite for hot reloading, yeah it is. Using an atlas, nice, yeah, okay. Yeah, that does seem like a pain. That's because that's kind of a lot of geometry too, if that's every glyph is a quad. Yeah, let me know how you get on with that. Yep, so I used, in case you're interested, this is the Vite sort of, I'm not entirely sure what you call this, but like the Vite flavor or the bootstrapper that I used to get this project going. Yeah, which basically just already sort of sets up Electron and everything for you. Yeah, so I guess the last thing is the gizmo needs to read the stuff as well when it spawns. And I guess really what I should be doing, rather than binding to this kind of UI state changing, I should have events triggering for this stuff changing, and then the UI and the gizmo can both bind to those events. But alas, I am feeling lazy, so I'll just do it this way for now. Sorry, I shouldn't breathe into the mic like that, I'm sorry. Doing some big sighs because I'm tired. So what I need to do is, after I create the gizmo, I pretty much just need to read off those values and set stuff on it. So space equals window.editor dot viewport settings dot transform space, and the what was the other one? Translation snap or something? Yeah. Window.editor. Yeah, so here's another gross thing about me having to do it this way is, well, actually no, it's fine, because I will save the amount of snapping later. I just don't have it yet. So never mind. It's still gross, but not that bad. But what I was going to say is that I have to kind of like hard code these magic numbers here and in the UI. But I actually won't have to do that once I have the number in these viewport settings as well. Wait, there's a page. Oh no. Oh no. Root waiter. Yeah, there is. There is, my friend. Why is there a bracket there? Wait, what? Why is it wanting to put that on that line? Oh, there we go. Rotation snap is going to be enable rotation snapping, and I did pi over 4, I think, for my amount, my temporary hard-coded amount. And scale, I think. I think I did 0.25 for that. It's weird how this one's a function. Scale snapping. 0.25. Where are you guys from in the world, out of interest? I'm not sure if you are able to tell, but I'm from New Zealand. Okay, so if I turn on snapping, then click on another object. What? Wait a second. False. New Jersey, 6 AM. Oh wow, big night for you. Yeah, no problem, root waiter. How's it going, Zohaib? Welcome in. Oh yeah, nice, very good. So snapping is good there. Oh wait, it's because I see the problem, I think. If I go to viewport settings, I'm only setting the gizmo. I'm not yeah, I actually also need to be updating the source of truth variable, which is here. These aren't source of truth variables, these are just like UI kind of representations. so this is why I should be doing a callback. Oh wait, never mind. This is a boolean. Not assignable to type false. What the heck? Oh. That's why my thing was freaking out before. This thing. Okay, so if I put that there, quickly do rotation snap. Rotation snapping is this, and then scale snapping is this, and possibly we might have functional snapping, but also when I switch objects it remembers. Very good. Scale snapping, but we should not have rotation snapping. Yeah, very good. Local space toggle works. Go over here. No, I think local space toggle isn't working. No. Close though. Brazil, but living in Japan. Oh, that's cool. Japan's a pretty cool place. The chat on the web isn't working for me, only the app. Yeah, the software, I'm using a mix of my actual keyboard sound, but I also use something called Mech Vibes, because I'm some sort of psycho who likes to hear the sound of my keyboard in my headphones. Well, not really the sound of my keyboard, but yeah, you can select whatever type of key sound you want. For some reason that helps me program to like hear my key presses in my headphones, because otherwise I can't hear my real life keyboard. So yeah, you guys can probably hear this too. If I type really lightly, that sound is this program, and I'll turn it down progressively so you can hear the difference. Not faking it. I for some reason that's the way I roll. I just like to hear my own keyboard sounds. My real life keyboard sounds like this, if you can hear it. Hopefully you heard that. Are you planning to add more buttons there later, or those are all? You mean these ones? I will I need to implement these ones, which are basically a way to toggle between scale, rotate, and move. And then I need to add a little number drop down beside each of these snapping options to set the amounts, like in like how far it snaps basically, or rotates. It's the same. What's the difference? Oh yeah. So maybe you guys can't hear my this thing. I'm not sure. If I turn that on and then turn it off. But you can put on like some really clicky stuff too. I don't know. Yeah, download it if you like the sound, or even if you have like a membrane keyboard, you can get this and make it sound like a mechanical keyboard. Yeah, so that's the plan with this UI, although I am going to leave the stream there. I was supposed to go 20 minutes ago, and I have work tomorrow, but yeah, it's been really cool to meet you guys, hang out a bit, get a little bit of work done. Yeah, progress slowly being made. Let me do the commit so I don't screw this code up again. viewport options and snapping controls working. That's pretty cool software. Yeah, it's called Mech Vibes. If you just Google Mech Vibes, I'll just paste it in, you'll find it. It's just very cool. Yeah, nice to meet you too, Hood Gal, and awesome work on your engine. That is super impressive. I will definitely add you on Discord. Yeah, use it for your trash office keyboard. So yeah, that'll help it sound a little cooler for your ears. You can download all sorts of different sounds as well. Have a good rest. Will do. I'll catch you guys in the next stream.